I wasn't supposed to be out that day. I'd taken a wrong turn on a trail in Washington State, Rattlesnake Ridge, about 40 minutes outside of Seattle. I just wanted a quick hike to clear my head before the rain came in. I wasn't even supposed to be in the woods that long. My mate Tom had warned me not to wander off, especially with the storm rolling in. But then I saw it. About 50 feet ahead, just off the trail, there was something swaying between the trees. A body. At first I thought it was a prank, some sick Halloween decoration, or maybe even a hiker who'd gotten themselves into a bad way. I stepped closer. The clothes were mine. Same navy windbreaker, same mud-caked hiking boots, same tiny rip on the sleeve from a barbed wire fence last year. But it was the face that stopped me cold. It was me, hanging there, head twisted, eyes wide open. I don't know how long I stared, heart thudding, throat tight, unable to breathe. But when I blinked, it was gone. Just trees, just fog. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was I could still feel the rope burn on my neck. Let me back up a bit. I'm Mark, 36, originally from Bristol, but I've been living in the US for about 5 years now. I work in cybersecurity, mostly remote stuff for a firm based out of Toronto. It's a job that keeps me behind a screen, behind firewalls, which is how I prefer things. I've never been the social type. No wife, no kids. A handful of friends who, like me, don't really do birthdays or barbecues. Just quiet people with dark humor and low expectations. I like it that way. It's safe, clean. A few weeks ago, I flew up to Washington to visit my old mate Tom. We used to be thick as thieves back in uni, back when life still had that raw, unfinished feeling to it. But time has a way of folding people into their own corners. He settled near North Bend, just outside of Seattle, quieter than the city, hugged by forest, mountains looming like old gods. The air feels heavier there, older. We were meant to do a proper weekend hike together, Rattlesnake Ridge. Gorgeous views, nothing too technical. Something familiar, grounding. But the morning we were set to head out, Tom got called into work. Something last minute. He's an electrician now, runs his own little crew. He offered to cancel, but I told him not to. Figured I'd go it alone. It wasn't anything dangerous. A simple loop trail, well marked. I'd done worse in Banff last year during snowmelt. This would be easy. It was just past 10 when I started. The trailhead was empty, the car park damp with fresh rain. The sky hung low and gray, like it hadn't fully woken up. Typical Pacific Northwest weather. Beautiful in a grim sort of way. Trees towered on either side, and everything smelled of wet pine and rot. About 15 minutes in, I passed a wooden sign that didn't sit right with me. The paint was fresh, too fresh. Dead Man's Hollow, it read. I stopped, checked the map on my phone. Nothing by that name listed. I figured maybe it was some local in-joke, or a mischief maker screwing with hikers. Still, something about the way the paint dripped, like it hadn't even dried yet, gave me a chill. But I kept going. The further I went, the quieter it got. At first I thought it was just distance from the road, but it wasn't that. It was wrong silence. No wind, no rustling, no bird song, just my own footsteps crunching against damp gravel and the occasional crack of a branch somewhere too close. About halfway up the ridge, something changed. The air thickened, like walking into a pressure chamber. My ears started ringing. That kind of deep internal pressure you get when your plane is descending and you forget to swallow. My skin started to prickle, like the forest was watching me. I know that sounds mad, but it felt real, like I wasn't supposed to be there. Then came the nausea, sharp and sudden. I dropped to one knee, took a long drink from my flask, tried to steady my breath. I closed my eyes for just a second, and when I opened them, I saw it. About 20 meters off trail, swinging gently from a thick pine limb, was a body. At first I couldn't process it. I thought it was a dummy, some kind of grim hiker's prank. But the closer I got, the clearer it became. Same windbreaker, navy blue, same boots, same torn sleeve where I caught it on a fence post in Vermont last winter. And then the face. It was me, limpio, tongue swollen, skin pale, waxy, eyes wide open, bulging. But what made me scream, what made my knees buckle, was that the eyes were still wet, like it had just happened. I turned and ran, or tried to. My legs wouldn't move right, like running in a nightmare. The forest seemed to fold in on itself, trees closing in, light dimming with every step. I stumbled on something, roots maybe, went down hard, skinned both palms, didn't stop. By the time I hit the base of the trail, everything looked different. The sky was darker, too dark for 11 a.m. I pulled out my phone. 4:26 p.m. I'd lost over 6 hours. No memory of it, nothing. I should have called someone, a ranger, Tom, anyone, but I didn't. Instead, I sat in the driver's seat, staring at myself in the rearview mirror. My hands were trembling, face pale, sweat sticking my shirt to my back. Then I saw it, a mark around my neck, faint but raw, red and broken like rope burn. Like something had been there. I reached up to touch it and flinched. It stung. That's when the fear became something else, something deeper. Not fear of what I saw. Fear that maybe I wasn't the one who'd come back down that mountain. I didn't tell anyone. Not Tom, not my sister back in the UK. No one. What was I supposed to say? Hey, I saw myself hanging from a tree and I lost 6 hours of time. Oh, and now I might be wearing someone else's body. Yeah, that'd go over great. So I kept it in, buried it. That night back at Tom's, I tried to sleep. Emphasis on tried. I tossed and turned for hours every time I closed my eyes seeing me, hanging, twitching slightly in the wind like a pendulum. The worst part wasn't the body, it was the eyes, open, fixated, watching me as if it was waiting for me to join it, or replace it. I must have drifted off eventually because I woke up gasping, my hands clawing at my own neck, convinced something was pulling me upward. I could still feel the pressure when I sat up, like gravity was working the wrong way. The next morning I tried to act normal. Tom noticed right away. You look like hell, he said. You all right? Didn't sleep well, I muttered. Altitude, maybe. He gave me that look, the kind friends give when they know you're lying but don't want to press. Then he asked, you didn't go near the old hospital, did you? I paused. What hospital? Up the ridge behind the secondary path. There's this place, old psychiatric ward or something. Locals call it Ravenshade. It's been shut since the 70s. Creepy place. People say it's cursed. I laughed nervously. You believe that? He didn't laugh back. Last guy who broke in went missing. Seriously, whole search party. They found his backpack but no body. His phone was on 1%, recording a 7-hour video of black, just static and breathing. My mouth was dry. I didn't go near anything like that, but something about his words stuck with me. Not just the content, something underneath, a tone, like he knew more than he was saying, like maybe he'd been there once too. That night I couldn't help myself. I looked it up. Ravenshade Asylum, built in 1931, shut down in 1974 after administrative irregularities and a fire in the East Wing. 23 patients unaccounted for. 3 nurses vanished on separate days. 1 janitor was found on the roof, whispering the word mirror until his vocal cords tore. And the kicker? It was less than a mile from where I saw myself hanging. I should have left it there, closed the laptop, gone home, but I didn't, because deep down, I needed to know. Tom didn't want me to go alone, so we went together. He brought a flashlight. I brought a crowbar. I still don't know why. I wasn't planning on breaking in, but part of me felt like I'd need to defend myself. From what? I couldn't even say. The hospital was a hollowed-out shell, moss creeping down the exterior walls, glass long gone from the windows. The air smelled of rot, old metal, and something wet, something alive. Inside was worse. The silence was complete. No wind, no echo. Just the sound of our breathing and our shoes sticking to the damp floor tiles. The kind of silence that feels watchful. We moved through the corridors, rusted bed frames, graffiti, some juvenile, some deeply wrong. Scribbled phrases like, "It remembers," and not who you think you are. One room had a chair bolted to the floor, leather restraints still attached. Another had chains bolted to the wall, child-sized. The deeper we went, the more I felt it. That pressure again, like something waiting for us to reach a certain point. Like the building had a nervous system and we were crawling through its veins. Then we heard it. Clink, clink, clink. Something metal, something wheeled. Tom froze. We both turned toward the hallway up ahead, and there it was, a hospital bed, slowly rolling toward us. No slope, no wind, just those wheels. Creaking, turning, coming closer, and lying on the bed was me, pale, motionless, hands folded across my chest like a body at a viewing. Same torn sleeve, same windbreaker, same face, eyes closed. And then I saw it. The chest rose. Barely, but it rose. It was breathing. Tom screamed my name and grabbed my arm like a lifeline. His nails dug into my jacket as he yanked, desperate to pull me away from the rolling bed and the thing, me, lying on it. But I couldn't move. Not out of fear, not even paralysis. It was like my body didn't belong to me anymore. Like some invisible thread connected me to that bed, and the thread had gone taut. The me on the bed opened his eyes, slowly, no blinking, just opening. They were mine. Same green-gray color, same tired creases in the corners, but colder, emptier. And then he smiled. Not a wide grin, just the faintest upturn of the mouth, controlled, knowing, like he was finally in and I was finally out. I stumbled backward, gasping, the breath caught in my chest. The air warped around me like heat rising off asphalt, but colder, sharper. The room itself seemed to bend. The walls stretched upward. The ceiling cracked open like a mouth. Doors blinked out of existence. The corridor behind us dissolved into pure black. It was as if the building had changed its mind about what reality looked like. Tom turned the flashlight on the bed, and the beam passed right through it. No shadows, no reflection. It flickered at the edges like a video glitch, a projection, a memory, or worse, something that was never really alive to begin with. Just a placeholder for me. Then came the whispering, low, continuous, no words, just movement, as if dozens of feet were pacing behind the walls, dragging across the floor, wet skin sliding, soft gasps, a shuffling symphony with no direction. Like something was circling us, sniffing the boundary between what was physical and what was not. Then just as suddenly as it started, everything went white, not light, just blank. Then trees, then birdsong. I was back. I was standing in the middle of a forest, same trail, same hill. It was morning. The sun was up. The trees swayed gently in the breeze. Birds chirped like it was just another peaceful hike. No hospital, no bed, no Tom. Just my phone buzzing in my pocket. 32 missed calls, all from Tom. My hands were shaking as I tapped call back. He answered instantly, voice ragged, like he'd been screaming. Mark? Jesus Christ, where the hell have you been? You disappeared, man. I turned around and you were gone. You didn't say anything, just gone. I ran back. I called the Rangers. I thought you were... He stopped. The silence on the other end of the line wasn't normal. It felt too quiet. You okay, Mark? I looked down. I was holding something. I don't remember picking it up. I don't remember even seeing it before. It was a hospital bracelet. White plastic, slightly warped. My name printed clearly in that clinical font. Mark Kenner, and underneath it, date of death, April 28th yesterday. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. Because in that moment it hit me. There hadn't been birds before. Not on the trail. Not in the forest. The silence had been real. This wasn't. And maybe I never really left Ravenshade. Maybe no one does. I left Washington the next day. Told Tom I was fine. Just tired. Said I needed some time. Haven't spoken since. But things haven't gone back to normal. I see myself. Not just in mirrors. Not just in dreams. Sometimes, out of the corner of my eye, I'll spot someone across the street wearing my face, my clothes, my walk. And when I blink, They're gone. My neck still itches. The marks haven't faded. I don't sleep much anymore. Every time I do, I end up back in that forest or in that hospital bed. I wake up gagging, choking, like I've been hanging for hours. And yesterday I checked my medical records, just to be sure. There's no record of me being born in the UK. In fact, there's no record of me at all before the exact day I showed up at Tom's door that weekend. The weirdest thing? My phone keeps auto-correcting my name in texts, replacing Mark with Mark. I never spelled it that way, but maybe he did.